We are almost at the 5-year anniversary of under construction. I think
5
June.
years.
I think June is June 9th. It's like June around Juneteenth.
Right.
It might be right before that,
Okay.
but
We'll check on that.
definitely definitely around June, maybe July. But in those 5 years,
No,
the
I
first
knew
year or
you were going
so,
to.
yeah, I wasn't even I wasn't even really on the show that much the first year. I was the producer. I was in the background. Uh and even then, I've always been optimistic about Charlotte sports teams, particularly the Charlotte Hornets. I always felt like things were
They were on
gonna
the
get
cusp.
they were gonna get better.
Right.
Hornets can't be bad forever, right?
Right. So we thought.
Year after year, same old, same old.
Yep.
We draft a guy, he goes somewhere else, he's all star.
Thriving. Thriving.
Yep. We fire a coach, we hire a coach, we fire a coach, new coach. I mean, it's just we draft a generational talent who has goodwill ankles. Just
Go with
it's hard. It's hard. It's hard every year. Just
it gets harder. Seems like it. Yeah.
so this year, I'm hating on the Hornets all year. All year, I'm just hating on them. I
Just
don't like
just purposely, huh? Just,
watching the Minnesota Timberwolves. Who, if you for all the things you can say about the history of the Charlotte Hornets and their dance with mediocrity over the last 30 plus years. Although I don't even really I don't even count the 90s because the Hornets were pretty good in the 90s. But there have been a few franchises that actually been worse off than the Hornets, and one of them is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
right.
That narrative is gone now. Minnesota might go to the NBA Finals. Meanwhile, by the way, Minnesota had the number 1 pick in the same draft that we drafted LaMelo Ball. We're on the same timeline.
I want you to say that part again, though.
Yes, they had the number
say
1
that
pick
part
in
again.
the same draft we drafted LaMelo Ball. Those two guys.
And I don't mean to interrupt, but when's the last time we've had a number 1 pick?
Oh,
Nope.
1990. Oh, well, no. Well, was Okafor number 1 pick? No, because we could have had Dwight Howard.
Nope.
Yeah, 1993. Alonzo Mourning.
Yep.
So, but see, here's the thing: we didn't even need the number 1 pick. We were lucky enough that Golden State didn't need a guard, that they passed on LaMelo Ball and picked James Wiseman, the guy that everyone in Charlotte wanted, by the way. Where is he now? I don't know. But I said that to say is teams like the Timberwolves are on their way. Now, granted, they did have Karl Anthony Towns already, another number 1 draft pick. But there shouldn't be this much separation between a team like the Timberwolves and the Charlotte Hornets, but there is, and there's a lot of reasons why. And I hate all of those reasons. And thus I hate the Charlotte Hornets. I have no optimism about this coming up season. Everyone does. Everyone's like, oh, new ownership. Hornets going to be healthy. We got a number 6 pick. No, none of that shit has mattered in the last few years. People were saying this last year. People were saying the same thing last year, man. We got a top 5 pick. LaMelo going to be healthy. We got Mark Williams. People said the same shit last year. And now here we are again looking at the number 6 pick, by the way. We tanked to get the number 6 pick. I want everyone to remember, man, LaMelo not hurt. He's just not playing because the new front office want to tank. Now you done tanked and got possibly the worst possible position you could get in a weak draft. All the good players are going to get taken before the 5th pick. Corvette Stingray might be happy because Zach Edey's on the board, but Zach Edey or whoever. Y'all in the Hornets group know what I'm talking about. The Hornets will skip over him. And watch, they'll skip over him and he'll be the next Nikola Jokic. That's how I feel about the Charlotte Hornets. I hate them.
Kaiser, let me know if I'm wrong or not. Please do. Let me know. I don't want to. I'm not trying to steal. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. But let me know if you feel this way because of this reason.
All right.
I feel exactly the same way you feel, but I feel the same way you feel because I feel like nothing ever goes right. Just nothing the
No,
Hornets
no.
try to do ever goes right. Now, to be clear, I am not as critical of the front office like other people are because I truly feel like in the Mitch Kupchak era, like, the attempt to be better has been there. They've done
Right.
some very positive things that we thought should work out. You understand what I'm saying? No, nobody was against drafting LaMelo Ball. You know what I mean? Like nobody was against that kind of stuff. But nothing ever goes right. Nothing.
Never.
And going into this season, like you said, on the surface, there's so much to be excited about on the surface. But we are at peak cynicism with this team. I feel like going into this season, I'm expecting something to go wrong. Not because new management is going to mess something up or I don't trust the brass. It's not necessarily because of that. It's just because nothing ever goes right. Understand? And listen, with this upcoming draft pick, which we are going to talk about very soon, I don't want any Hornets fans out there to act like you know who's the right guy to pick. Do not start that shit right now. I'm pointing my finger. Don't start that. There's nobody on this earth who's going to sit and tell me, oh, the Hornets better pick this guy because he's going to change. No, don't do that. Don't do that. We don't know.
No, you know what? This draft is boom or bust. Whoever the Hornets draft is going to be either, some player that no one thought was going to be as good as they are, a Klay Thompson or Bradley Beal or Draymond Green or even a Nikola Jokic, or you're going to get
some guy, a guy.
You're going to get Dwayne Bacon, right? You're going to get. I can't. First of all, there was no one the Hornets could draft at 6 that's going to be better than Nick Smith Jr. Nobody.
Wow, that's low.
I mean, but it's true.
It may be the truth, but
I don't. Let's just get right into it. Do you think Stephon Castle is better than Nick Smith Jr. right now?
Oh, we jumping right into it. Okay,
we're going right into it. So I mean, we all know Jamal Darby is the UConn expert. He's been right about damn near everyone that's come out of UConn into the NBA over the last decade or so. He told us about James Bouknight. We didn't want to believe it. I ain't want to believe it because I was happy about that pick. And he was like, Bouknight's good, but man, maturity issues. And where's James Bouknight now? Right?
Voila. Probably going to end up in Israel because of those maturity issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm deferring all UConn knowledge to Jamal Darby here. And based on what I saw, because I don't watch UConn like Jamal does. But Jamal was very high on them all season. He was like, they're going to win the chip this year. And he was right. So I watched, and Castle's name kept coming up, and I don't see what the experts see. I don't see it.
So let me tell you this, man. You already said it. Boom or bust. You already said it. So here's where I'm going with Stephon Castle. I want to get into Donovan Clingan too, but let's talk about Stephon Castle first, man. All right. Now, all the intangible stuff, the perimeter defense is there. Don't listen. Stephon Castle, if he gets drafted to the Hornets, he's already the best perimeter defender on the team. I'll safely and gladly say that. Okay. What concerns me and everybody else with Stephon Castle is on the offensive side of the ball. He's a bet. Listen, I hate saying this, but there are people who are already comparing this dude to MKG. Stop doing that. Absolutely not.
Right.
All right. He's a better ball handler, MKG. You question the shot making, but let me tell you about the shot making when it's going on Stephon Castle. That is the weakness in this game. But as the season went along with UConn, that jump shot got better and better and better. If you want to make a comparison to somebody who's already in the NBA, compare him to Cam Whitmore, who had the same kind of questions coming into the NBA. His jump shot is miles better than what it was. Stephon Castle has that same potential. Guys, let me tell you this, man. This entire lottery, all the players are like the same. I can say that for every single player in this lottery. All these players you're drafting on potential. There's a couple of guys in this draft who are already somewhat polished offensively. Dalton Connect is one of them, but there's a lot of Stephon Castles in this draft. Ron Holland is another guy, super athletic, can't shoot, slasher, can get to the hole anytime he want to. Stephon Castle's the same guy, okay? So I say all that to say it's boom or bust for anybody. There is no concrete prediction I can make for Stephon Castle or a lot of these guys. What I will tell you about Stephon Castle, you're going to get an elite perimeter defender. You're going to get an elite competitor. You're going to get elite athleticism. All those intangibles are there. There's no question about that. You question the jump shot. You question the ball handling ability. You question whether he could be the guy to take pressure off of LaMelo Ball. There's a reason I'm saying that, because I truly believe that is the biggest factor going into next season. Who's going to be the second ball handler, second scorer? Now, everybody's going to say, oh, Brandon Mills is the second scorer. No, listen. Who is the second guy to be the second ball handler? We didn't have that when Terry Rozier left, and we're going to need that going into next season.
If you want to be a guard in the NBA, you got to be able to do two things in the modern NBA. You got to be able to shoot well, got to be able to ball handle. Stephon Castle can do neither, and that's a problem. Defender, guys who are, and I think, you got the tools to be an elite defender, but let's be honest. How many elite defending guards are there that are really worth a lottery pick?
Right.
It is, if you're elite defending forward, that's different, because then you can be a Draymond Green. If you're elite defending center, you could be Rudy Gobert. Elite defending guards, I mean, no matter how elite you are, Kyrie Irving's still going to give you 40 if he really wants to.
Exactly.
Luka Doncic's still going to give you 40, 10, and 10 if he really wants to. The elite perimeter defender in the NBA is a bit of a myth nowadays. The rules are too open to allow offensive players. Offensive players they're allowed to push off, they're allowed to shove, they can elbow. It's almost impossible to be an elite. In fact, if you were like, hey, name the top 5 elite defending guards in the NBA. Okay, I mean, are any of them all-stars?
Hey man, MKG was a really good perimeter defender, and LeBron and Melo still gave him 60. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Guys like Cody Martin on our team, they're good defenders. They're glue guys. They make an immediate impact on the court. They're not number 6 picks,
right?
And that's really a problem with this draft. It's like, who's going to come out? Okay, you got a lot of guys who can come and contribute. But the Hornets are not in a position to where we're going to spend a number 6 pick on someone who can contribute. We can get that in free agency. So
I'll not trying to cut you off, man, but I do want to get into the other UConn player that is kind of mentioned with the Charlotte Hornets. And and we all know there's a UConn Charlotte pipeline. You know what I mean? All the UConn players we've drafted.
Right.
But I also want to talk about Donovan Clingan. I call him Dominant Clingan because let me tell you something, man. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Donovan Clingan was the most impactful player on that UConn team. There's no question. I don't have fancy plus minus stats to share with everybody, but coming from somebody who watches every game, Donovan Clingan was by far the most impactful player on that team. Here's my concern with Donovan Clingan. All right. Same thing with Stephon Castle, man. All the intangibles. He can run the floor. He's an elite defender, elite shot blocker. He is all of that. What you worry about with Donovan Clingan is the same thing. Does he have an NBA game? And right now, to me, that answer is a definitive no. He does not have an NBA game. There's no post game. There's no mid-range jumper, even though there's some I've seen some semblances, and there's been some, I've seen some moments where he took some spot up jumpers. He even hit a couple of threes this season. But the question is he going to be able to do that on a consistent basis? If we go Donovan Clingan or whoever does draft Donovan Clingan, what you have to understand is you're going to have to be patient with him as far as development. That NBA game is not there yet. You're going to wait at least 2-3 years to even see that. You understand what I'm saying? But it's the same thing. All the stuff that you want to contribute to a team is there. But is he going to be the guy that changes the fortune of your franchise? I don't see that yet. It's the same thing, man.
You know, a lot of mock drafts have tied the Hornets to him because the Hornets do have a need at center this season. I think amplified that when Mark Williams went down. Nick Richards was the starting center. He did everything we asked for him to do. I think he did a serviceable job, but Nick Richards is better as a backup, I think, to a better starting center. And I don't think Donovan Clingan is that guy, right? I don't see him being any better or even worse than Nick Richards. We don't need two Nick Richards.
He could be a little better than Nick Richards, but that's about it though. At most, you know what I mean?
I don't think we're talking like a large difference in skill gap.
No, we're not.
We need if Mark Williams ain't gonna come back, which I still have my reservations considering he had a back injury that kept him out for most of the season. Then the Hornets, that's what they need. That's their biggest need right now. I don't even think they need another guard to complement LaMelo Ball, mainly because they have enough wing players that can fill that role. Brandon Miller can play the two. It's not natural for him, and I don't like seeing him at the two, but this season there were stretches of games where he played shooting guard, and he did well. He struggled at first, and then
I'd much rather see him at the three, man. I really would.
Rather see him at the three. But the thing about this, if you could get, I'm just throwing names out here, but let's say you could get someone like Lauri Markkanen or somebody,
right? Then
you move Miller to the two, and then you have a front court of Miles Bridges, Lauri Markkanen. So I'm saying that we have some versatility there, and the Hornets' focus should not necessarily be, okay, we need someone to complement LaMelo Ball. I'm not, it's hard to tell also where the Hornets are going to go in this draft because we don't know a lot about the philosophy of Charles Lee, the new coach. By the way, the Hornets have a new coach. It's been a while since we talked, right?
Right. Yeah. Right.
We don't know his philosophy. If we think that he wants to build something like he was used to having in Boston, that changes things drastically. Then he's not going to be focused on a center. He's not, because Boston, plays center by committee. They have some solid guys, but their center rotation is bigger than just one player.
Right.
I could see him focusing on strong wing play, which is what the Boston Celtics have. The Boston Celtics, remember, they went to the NBA Finals without a true point guard. Marcus Smart was their point guard, and they traded him off. So it's. I'm not saying that Charles Lee is going to try and replicate what he was a part of in Boston, but we just don't know what the philosophy of the new coaching staff, the new owners, the new GM. Who knows what direction they might go with this pick? Yeah.
And there's so many directions they could go with this pick, man. And we've highlighted the two UConn guys, but there's some. I just feel like all the guys are kind of just lumped in together. You know what I mean? I mentioned a guy named Ron Holland, who to me is a lot like Stephon Castle. But I like Holland's ability to get his own shot a little more, but he struggled from 3-point land. He only shot 24% in the G League, so. They could go now. I want to say this. This is what I meant to say in regards to this lottery. All right. Do not be surprised. Now, all the mocks have us selecting Stephon Castle or Donovan Clingan. That's all I see with the mocks. Do not be shocked, Hornets fans, if Dalton Connect is the pick. I'm going to tell you why. All right. Dalton Connect. Now, he may not have the upside of a Castle or Holland or anything like that, but he's 22 years old. There's a reason I'm saying that. 22 years old. His game is the most polished. He's the most NBA ready player, in my opinion. And I think the new brass may go a different direction than what we've seen before. You understand what I'm saying? So again, don't be surprised if we see Dalton Connect sneak up there and be the 6th pick, which I personally would not be that mad at. But then again, all these guys kind of lumped in together. So
I'm just gonna say it. If you draft a white dude,
we know it's gonna happen. Yep.
I'm just saying.
Pitchfork to come out. I know.
Dalton Connect. I mean, I don't disagree with you at all there.
But we know. Yeah.
We already know. You draft a white dude, especially one that's over like 6'8".
Yeah.
Fans are it's gonna be. I said this in the Hornets group. This looked like the Cody Zeller draft all over again. Although I think Dalton Connect could be better than Cody Zeller was, but fans ain't gonna give him the chance.
But I'm gonna tell you what though, man. Dalton Connect 6'6" guard / small forward. That dude can shoot, and he has a chip on his shoulder, and that's what I like about him personality wise.
If he comes in and balls out, all will be forgiven.
All will be forgiven. And like I said, man, this dude has a chip on his shoulder. Like he wants to prove he's going to be the most slept on draft pick, man. So I'm kind of on board with that, quite honestly, man. So we'll see.
A few mock drafts have us attached to Reed Shepherd out of Kentucky.
If they real quick, if they draft Reed Shepherd, we will easily be the worst defensive backcourt in the NBA.
That's true, but I mean, the guy can shoot.
Yeah,
and okay. So here's
very well, by the way. Yeah.
So the Hornets were not built to be a defensive team.
Rayvon, what's up, man?
If this new coaching staff and front office decides to retool the franchise into something they're not, then this is going to be a long rebuild, fans. It's going to be a long next few seasons
because they're going to have to restructure everything,
starting from our star point guard, who is maybe the worst defender on the team. You can't say, okay, we're going to put a bunch of defenders around LaMelo Ball. Now we can't score. The Hornets are made to score. They got scores. They're probably going to pay Miles Bridges because he averages 20 points a game. It's better, I think, to just foster the good defenders that we do have, bring in a few pieces. I think Brandon Miller can be a great two-way player, and then focus on the Hornets' strengths, which has been off. I mean, James Borrego, say whatever you want about him, but the Hornets' offense was literally in the history of the team was never as good as it was before he came and after he came.
Right.
I mean, when James Borrego was like, he recognized, which was odd coming from the San Antonio Spurs, a defensive team. He said, these guys can't defend worth shit. But you know what? They can score.
Right.
And the Hornets went out and put up 121 points a game and shot 38% from three-point range, which was best for third in the league, Borrego's last season here. They haven't replicated that since, and they never did that before. So what I'm saying is that we got scores. You might as well just make the Hornets an offensive team. And I think Reed Shepherd wouldn't be bad for that. Having said that, he ain't better than Nick Smith Jr.
This is where we're at in this draft. That's all I can tell you, man. I listen, let me be very clear, man. Like I said at the beginning of the show, me and you are at peak cynicism with this team.
Yeah. I mean,
and I think if I have any hope left, the hope I have way in the back of my soul, somewhere in the bottom of my soul somewhere, is that one of these guys, they end up way better than we think they're going to be. And hopefully we can pick that guy. Okay. That's the only hope I really have, because like you said, man, this draft to me, man, it's like Cody Zeller and what's my man that got drafted? Victor Oladipo and guys who were just guys. And then you had like the surprise of the you had the Giannis Antetokounmpo who went number 16 in that draft. But whoever that guy is, we don't know who that guy is, and we can sit here and lie and act like we're experts and know. Oh, we know who the breakout guy is going to be. We don't know, man.
Hey guys, also guys, I think Buzelis actually might be a pretty good pick. A lot of people don't think he'll be around at the 6th pick though.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think he's gonna be there at 6. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I guess the Detroit Pistons have their eye on him. I mean, the 6th pick is possibly the worst place to pick in the lottery because all the best players, the players that you know are going to be good, and that may be an advantage for the Hornets because we don't know who's going to be good this draft. But like by that point, they're all gone at the 6th pick. And then if you pick after that, your expectations are different. Which is weird to see people like bagging on PJ Washington. By the way, I'm very happy for PJ Washington. He had a very big moment last night in the Mavericks Thunder game. He essentially won the game for them, right? But a lot of people were like,
can we stop acting like these guys become all-stars when they lead the Hornets? Can we just stop doing that?
This is the same thing he did it for the Charlotte Hornets, which is why I don't understand like some of the vitriol he's getting. Everyone's like, well, he was too inconsistent for the 12th pick. He's a 12th pick.
He's a 12th pick.
How good? I don't know how good people expect someone to be. We said this when Miles Bridges got drafted, or when they drafted SGA and then traded Miles Bridges for what was essentially the 13th pick. One 13th pick in NBA history has ever made an All-Star game. That was Mookie Blaylock. So when you pick, that high, the expectations are different. If anything, I feel like PJ Washington has played about as well as a number 12 pick should play, and maybe a little better at times. Number 6 though, man. I mean, I don't.
Oh man,
I don't know. I think what? I think if Zach Edey is there, I think he takes it.
Oh boy. Let's talk about Mr. Zach Edey, please.
You know why?
Okay, give me what you got on Zach Edey, man.
The Hornets need some kind of goodwill press. The consensus is that the Hornets are the worst team and the worst organization in basketball, regardless of whether that's true or not. And a lot of that is just because the Hornets are an easy target. Zach Edey was a very good college player. And I think the fear is that his game will not translate to the NBA that well. And he's not going to be a good NBA player, right? But you draft him, you get a little bit of press. People are going to talk about the Hornets. People are going to say, well, he could. Plus, consider this. Whoever the Hornets draft, we don't need them to be Victor Wembanyama. We don't. I mean, our core is set. We got LaMelo Ball, if he stays healthy, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges. Then you just need a bunch of other guys. If Zach Edey can get you 9 and 9 every night, or if he can back up Mark Williams and get you 7 and 8, is that not worth the 6th pick?
Okay. All right. Okay. Zach Edey is very polarizing, and I understand exactly why Zach Edey is so polarizing. All right.
Because he's white.
Well, that's one thing.
if Zach Edey was a black dude, he'd be number one, the consensus number 1 pick. Let's keep it a buck. He would be. I mean, I'd be like, hell yeah, pick number 1.
Aside from that, aside from that, let me break down why Zach Edey is so polarizing. Okay. Because Zach Edey, number one, man, I mean, this dude is scoring in the NCAA tournament. Let's look at what he did in the tournament, man. I mean, this dude is putting up like 30-something points a game in the NCAA tournament, and that's nothing to sniff at. I don't care. Yeah, that's nothing to sniff at. I think people need to pay attention more on that side more than anything else. Now, let's look at the matchup between him and Donovan Clingan. Let's look at that. He went up against Donovan Clingan. He still got his. But in the second half of that game, he struggled mightily against Donovan Clingan. Now, again, Donovan Clingan is a pretty damn elite defender, like I mentioned before. So I'm saying all this to say, you draft Zach Edey, and there is this cloud that people kind of think of and say, are we getting a productive guy, or are we getting Adam Morrison? Okay. I hate to bring that name up, but here's why. Here is why. You look at Adam Morrison in college, dominant scorer in college. I mean, a bucket. Guy scored at will anytime he wanted to. He went up against the Syracuse team who had way more athleticism, way long defenders, and he did nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Zach, you have the same doubts with Zach Edey. Now, to give Zach Edey some credit, big chip on his shoulder. He's probably not going to be the emotional wreck that Adam Morrison was. He's probably not going to have a coach like Larry Brown who shits on him every time he every possibility he can. He's probably not going to have those issues, okay? But again, I'm just saying he's very polarizing. The talent is there. He's 7'4". Let me repeat. Zach Edey's 7'4", okay? Can score in the post. He's no more of a risk than Donovan Clingan is a 6. That's it.
I tell you this. 7'4" guys don't grow on trees. And
7'4" guys who can score.
He's not a bad player. I'm telling you, if he wasn't, let's see, he's someone mentioned. He's his mother, I believe, is Chinese. There are a lot of Chinese immigrants in Canada. That's where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
But if his name was Jamal, if his name was Jamal, I'm telling you, consensus, especially coming after the season that we just saw Chet Holmgren have and Victor Wembanyama have. I get the concern that he might. Another example, Frank Kaminsky was the best player in college basketball in 2015. He won the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award for best center in college basketball. Naismith winner. Frank Kaminsky could score at will in college. He could shoot the three. He could back it down. Now, although
and he got to the NBA, he just became a guy. A guy. Not bad. Just the guy.
You're a stretch 4 now.
Right.
That's it. Yeah. Right. Now he's out of the league. So I see the concern. I just feel like there's a lot of guys in this draft you're gonna have to develop and teach. Mm-hmm. What's the saying? You can't teach size. You got a 7'5" or 7'4" guy who might grow another inch for all we know, who can at the very least put the ball in the basket. Okay, so you're gonna have to teach anybody you draft. You're gonna have to teach them anyway. I'd rather teach that guy than teach Stephon Castle how to shoot threes.
Well, okay, let me say something I didn't say. Here's the biggest concern with Zach Edey. Donovan Clingan ran that man up and down the floor in the title game. I mean, he just ran him up and down. You understand? I mean, like dead sprint down the damn court. And that's the biggest concern with Zach Edey. Can he keep up with somebody? And you know, like I know with today's NBA, man, a lot of these centers ain't even really centers. They got 6'9", 6'10" guys running up and down the floor. And I think that's probably the biggest concern with Zach Edey.
I think most of that, however, is because the reason Clingan was able to be successful was because if Purdue doesn't have Zach Edey, do they go as far as they did in the tournament?
Absolutely not.
Do they even make the tournament without him?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think it was like the game plan was, look, we're going to harass their best player, which is what they do in college all the time because a lot of these teams have – I mean, look at when Steph Curry was at Davidson. Yeah. They were like, you know what? Triple team this guy. Make someone else shoot the final shot. Yeah. And they did, and Davidson lost because of that. I remember Brandon Miller in last year's tournament was terrible. I think he didn't score any points. And that was a big knock of his was, well, look how he did in the tournament. When he gets to the NBA, defenders are going to be, well, good luck stopping Brandon Miller now. Good luck stopping him next season. I mean, I can't wait to see what he's picked up in the offseason. I don't know. Have I talked myself into the Zach Edey train, into the bandwagon?
Sounds like it.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm all in. Fuck it. I'm all in. I'm all in.
I didn't expect you to be there, but welcome. Bro.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be there either. I just kind of pulled up to, you're looking for something to eat. And you're like, man, you know what? Let me pull up to the spot. It's pretty good. So, and if he don't work out, then I mean, what did we lose?
Yeah, it's just another Hornets pick that didn't work out.
Another Hornets pick that didn't work out, right?
Yep.
So,
hey, man, what do you think about one thing we didn't talk about, man? What do you think about Charles Lee?
So I think of all the available candidates, because I don't think Budenholzer was, even though we've campaigned for him, I don't think he was
never a candidate.
Game,
yep.
Right.
Same.
Although I think if the Hornets had made him a big enough offer, he would have come, because he did know, his team said that, I guess, Brooklyn, he wanted to take the job in Brooklyn. He would have accepted it, but he was asking for $8 million a year, I think.
Yeah.
8 to 12, which to me, I don't think that's too much to ask for a coach that's won a championship.
Right.
And, I mean, coaches don't go against the salary cap. Right. So if you don't make it, so I'm thinking, well, hell, if you don't make him an offer, then you're a cheapskate, right? I mean, owners always say, I'll sign whatever check I need to. Well,
I don't care what you're
right here. He's like, look, I'll go whoever pay me the most money. So whatever the case, he's in Phoenix now. So that left JJ Redick and Charles Lee. Redick had been, I guess, they interviewed him, but I guess he had been closely aligned with the Lakers job, which makes sense because him and LeBron James are like best friends. Right. And there was some debate about Redick, his actual experience coaching. He has none, right? He has a lot of basketball knowledge, but he's never coached, which, being a head coach in the NBA is about managing personalities, game management, schedules. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes with head coaching that has more to do than basketball knowledge.
Right.
Whereas Charles Lee has been a part of that. He's been in the league for a very long time. He's been with the Boston Celtics for a while, and contributed to their fairly recent successes. He comes from an organization with a lot of prestige, the Boston Celtics, and I think one of the biggest factors in hiring him is, can he bring some of that culture to us? That's if there's one thing the Hornets don't have, it's culture. Even the Panthers have culture, right? We know what the Panthers culture is. The Hornets have never in their 30 plus years of existence had any kind of culture. There's nothing that defines the team except for breweries. I like the Charlotte culture, which is no culture.
Right.
So
the basketball team has been a microcosm of that, right?
Exactly. So I think it's a good hire. I don't think it's going to make much difference, though. I don't think, if Steve Clifford has stayed on another year and then this team rolls out exactly how we expect it to, with everyone healthy, they're a playoff team, right? So what is Charles Lee going to do that Steve Clifford's not? That's what I need people to tell me. What is he going to do? He's going to play the young guys? No, he's not. This is his first head coaching job. He does not want to lose. He's going to play whoever gives him the best chance to win. And
he's going to play the guys he trusts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's not going to trust Stephon Castle or Reed Shepard or even Zach Edey. He's not going to trust those guys. He's going to trust the core of the team that he has here. So a good hire, but it doesn't really do anything for me.
All right. So, statement from the Hornets. His high character and his ability to connect with players while also instilling a culture of accountability. Let me repeat that part. Oh, my God. A culture of accountability.
Okay. The last coach that we hired that tried to do that?
Out the door?
Bye. LaMelo Ball throwing between the leg, alley-oops off the backboard. We down 20. Sit your ass down. Fans, Borrego don't want to see LaMelo shine. Winning season, fire.
Now that you have opened Pandora's box, let's go there. How does this see? You know what's funny, Kaiser? This is something me and you did not plan on talking about. I want to be clear to the people listening out there. Me and Kaiser didn't plan on talking about what I'm about to bring up. But while we're here, let's talk about it. The most important factor in this that nobody's talking about is how are Charles Lee and $250 man gonna mesh? How is that gonna work? How is the culture of accountability gonna work with $50 million man who hasn't been on the floor much the last 2.5 seasons? How are they gonna mesh? What's going to happen the first time LaMelo Ball has some guy blow by him the first 5 possessions of the game, and Charles Lee does this? Say, hey, young man, come here. Let me talk to you for a second. What's going to happen? How's that going to work? Because, guys, like you said, that hasn't worked the last 2 hires. Okay, something hasn't connected.
You know what? In today's NBA, coaches are not the ones who need to hold players accountable. It's other players.
It's players who need to hold other players accountable. Absolutely.
To go back to the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's Ant's team. That's Anthony. That's his team. You know why?
Let me say this though. Let me say this about him though. And I don't disagree. Let me be very clear about that. But one thing people don't ever mention when it comes to the Timberwolves is how Mike Conley is a very good leader for that team. And I know people are going to disagree with me here. Rudy Gobert actually is a very good vocal leader on that team as well. I watch them closely when it comes to that, man. Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley, man, they're not afraid to get in anybody's face on that team, man. And that's what this team desperately needs.
I mean, I'm going to take it back to the 90s. I'm going to take it back to Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson coached 2 of the greatest cores in history, Chicago and then Los Angeles. Right. Did he ever hold anyone accountable? I mean, we saw the documentary.
You know why he didn't? Because Michael Jordan held everybody accountable.
There you go. Right. There you go. Dennis Rodman went and did a WWF or WWE shoot and then came back and played a playoff game. You think he'll hold anybody accountable? No. Coaches don't need to do that. And that could be, maybe that's the failing of the front office in their coach search.
Hey, but hold on. I'm going to toot under construction's own horn. Sorry. How many times have we said, Hornets, go get a veteran guy to go get in these dudes' face? Who was the one last season who said, go get Taj Gibson? Not because he's a good player, because he will get in their face. Who said that last season?
Yeah, no, we did. Yep. I think if Charles Lee comes in and tries to establish himself as some type of like disciplinarian, like everyone's going to do their job, but you're not going to play. Nope,
he's going to get run out the door. He's going to get run out the door. Quick.
And you don't pay LaMelo all the money.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. He has the keys to the Lambo, right?
He got the keys, right? For better or for worse, you have to acquiesce to LaMelo Ball. You have to. And we know Mitch Kupchak loves LaMelo Ball. Probably loves him like a son. And Mitch Kupchak is not the GM anymore, but he's still in the organization. A lot of people forget this. He's an advisor, right?
He's an advisor, yep.
So LaMelo Ball still runs the Charlotte Hornets. And Charles Lee is going to have to find a way to acquiesce to LaMelo Ball while coaching. I mean, we say all the time, coaching the NBA is about managing personalities. He's got to do his best to make LaMelo feel like, look, bro, this is your team. And then maybe delegate the responsibility of accountability down to LaMelo Ball. Look, you got to hold these guys accountable, but that means you yourself have to hold yourself. Right. You got to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
And maybe, this will be LaMelo's, 5th season?
Yeah, man. If you can believe that. Yeah. Yeah.
5th season in the NBA. This will be his 7th season as a pro. If he hasn't gotten to that maturity level and figured it out by now, he never will. I like this. I think Miller will hold. I do think Miller is going to be that guy.
Same. I agree.
We already saw it from him and Miles last season.
Yeah. And I think we all saw the examples, and we all see that Brandon Miller does not like losing, and he you know what I mean? He has that special kind of dog in him, man. So I totally agree with that. I can see him being that leader going forward.
I'm gonna skip back up a few minutes, go to a comment Eric made about LaMelo and Williams, their health, and acquiring depth.
Yeah.
I am. Eric Collins has a saying: "Some things you guess out, other things you know."
Right.
One of these two guys is going to miss a significant amount of time this season. One of them. They're not going. We're not going to get 70 or 60 games with both these guys together. It's just not going to happen. One of these guys is going to get re-injured and probably miss 30 plus games this season.
Now, granted, we are at peak cynicism here. I just want to.
No, we are. I'm in fact. Now that sports betting is legal in North Carolina, I'm gonna have to look and see.
You gonna bet on it, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna look at the Vegas books.
Come on.
I know there is, and see what the over under is on LaMelo Ball, Mark Williams injury. Probably you're not gonna make any money on LaMelo because the bookies know he's gonna get injured. Williams maybe. So yeah, if LaMelo Ball is injured, then the season's a wash. If he misses more than even 20 games.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. With that being said, I this is a tough question. I mean, because I'm just kind of asking just to ask, man. Does that change the Hornets draft approach? Like, if they believe the same thing, okay, if they go into this season and they feel like LaMelo's ankles or knee, whatever, is not where they'd like to see it, does that change the draft approach for them? Do they start looking at a Reed Shepherd or Dillingham at that point if they feel that way?
No, because none of those guys can really replace LaMelo. I think if you are that not confident about LaMelo's long-term health, then you need to think about trading him.
Yeah.
Right. I know that we've said this before that you cannot trade LaMelo Ball. You cannot. But
not right now anyway.
There have been many teams in the history of not just NBA but sports who painfully trade away a star player to accumulate assets, and those assets end up sustaining success. I mean, the Charlotte Hornets did it once before. When they traded away Alonzo Mourning to the Miami Heat, they got Glenn Rice in return, and they were this. It's crazy to say this. They were a better team.
They were a better team after they did it.
In fact, since the day they drafted Alonzo Mourning, the Hornets didn't miss the playoffs for the next decade because they were able to continuously flip assets. So if you flip LaMelo Ball, you could, and trust me, you could flip LaMelo Ball, ankles and all, into really whoever you wanted to. You have an opportunity to sustain success. The Hornets are not there yet to where they should do that. But I said that to say if LaMelo's health is a concern, then do that rather than reach in the draft.
Right.
For somebody. But yeah, if LaMelo turns his ankle first game of the season, I'm just turning TV off and I'm done.
Man, dude. I don't know how much more I can take of just things going wrong. I don't know how much more I can take, man. Listen, man, with the Panthers, to me, they just suck. Like David Tepper has put his I don't know, his voodoo all over the Panthers, and they just suck. I don't see things just not going. With the Hornets, just feel like nothing just ever goes right, man.
Even things that are projected. I remember the Lance Stevenson deal, which seems like forever ago. But boy, we were all
everything seems like a great idea.
Everyone was praising Richard Cho. What a great signing.
And little did he know, Lance Stevenson forgets how to shoot the damn ball when he comes here. Who predicted that? Who saw that?
He made a pretty dope rap video with Kemba Walker, though.
Oh my God, man!
Y'all don't remember that?
Hot bleep, hot garbage. That's what it was.
Oh, I'm gonna hate on the Hornets until they show me otherwise. I'm gonna give them, I'm gonna give them the 10 games. Okay. I'll sustain my hate for the first 10 games of the season. And I'm not even saying that they have to have a winning record. I just need to see that they're a different team, right?
No doubt. Right.
if first of all, major player gets injured, hate. So I'm just gonna hate. I don't care who it is. I'll give Brandon Miller some slack because when Miller was injured last season, he always came back. Right, and played through it. But if LaMelo turns ankle, hey, if Miles Bridges punch somebody or throw pool balls at him,
I'm done. I'm completely done with him if just something like that happens, and just nothing can change.
The margin of error for my Hornets hate is very slim.
All right. So with that being said, Kaza, do you hate the Panthers more than you do the Hornets? Are you going to hate the Panthers more?
I resigned to my fate when it comes to the Panthers. We knew.
I want to hear this.
Well, we know that we knew this upcoming season was a wash because they didn't have any draft picks. Although I feel like they drafted pretty well.
I do. I agree with that.
Considering, right? And I feel like Dan Morgan is like fine. I think the Scott Fitterer, David Tepper, whoever the financial advisor was, that triangle was hamstringing. That's over. Dan Morgan was the assistant GM, but now he's like, okay, get out the way.
Let me run the show. We like it's like we really know who the GM is now.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And I think he's doing a pretty good job, all things considered.
I agree. Kaza, let me say this, man. I listen, man. There's nobody on earth that's been more down on the Panthers than me the last 5 seasons. I really like what Dan Morgan did this offseason, man. I really do, considering, the lack of a first-round draft pick, man. Because here's what I feel like with Dan Morgan. I feel like for the first time since David Jones, a.k.a. Dave Tepper, has been with the Panthers, I feel like for the first time, Dan Morgan is like, look, man, I know what the identity is of this damn team is. And we're going to go back to keep pounding. We're going to go back to what the real Panthers are. And I feel like he is building this team in his vision. Everything he's done up to this point lets me know, no, we going back to what the Panthers are, man. And I'm excited about that, quite honestly, man.
Absolutely. I'm not going to say excited because I don't think the Panthers will be
hopeful.
Right. Yeah. Like I think after this season could be a turning point, or this season could be a turning point. They're going to be better than 2 games, right? They're going to win.
Kind of hard.
Right. Yeah. They're going to win like at least like 5, right? And then they'll be in a position for another good draft pick, and they'll be able to continue to build around Bryce Young. And that's going to be the linchpin of this season. Do we see improvement from Bryce Young? Is drafting Xavier Legette, which I thought was a great move, although a lot of people didn't feel like we should have moved up to the first to draft him. I disagree. The Panthers had their eye on him. You want in the NFL,
get your guy, man.
In the NFL, you have so many draft picks. You go get your guy, and they did. And I think that was a very good move. It's clear they're like, look, we're gonna try and build some solid wide receiver core around our quarterback. That show if you're Bryce Young, how can you not be excited about that pick, right? You got second team all SEC player. I mean, he played at South Carolina. He's a very good pick. So I kind of, before the season, I was like, well, the Panthers next season ain't going to be no good anyway. If they win 5 games, I'll be happy. So I don't hate them as much. I hate David Tepper because he has, you mentioned the identity of the Panthers. He has damaged that identity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying that the Panthers are like this great franchise, but on paper, if you look at the Carolina Panthers, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 4 NFC championship game appearances, 8 division titles, going all the way back to the NFC West days.
Hey man, better than a lot of teams can say.
A lot of teams would kill for that, right? So our identity has always been hard-nosed football. We're going to run the ball. We're going to be the Carolina Panthers. David Tepper damaged that. We're now the laughing stock of the league because of him. Throwing drinks on fans, walking up into restaurants because you didn't like the sign out. What owner does that, man?
Egomaniac. That's who does that. So someone whose ego supersedes his football knowledge. That's who does that. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I hate Tepper. Panthers I don't hate yet.
Yeah.
I'm giving them one more season.
You know, and man, look, speaking of the culture of accountability, I know, we were talking about the Hornets, but I kind of want to talk about how that translates to the Panthers and the draft picks. Another thing I noticed about what Dan Morgan's doing, man, he's making moves and not necessarily based on position. Here's what I mean by that. It's kind of like taking accountability by competition.
Right.
Look at what he did with the running backs. He drafted Jonathan Brooks. He got Rashad Penny from the Seahawks. Now you look at that and you say, why are you doing that? Because Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders, they're on notice now. It's like, oh shit, this running back room
especially
is
Miles Sanders, because
right.
we gave up. Well, I mean, we paid you a lot of money to come here.
Right.
I expected you to change things, and you didn't.
Right. And you look at the linebackers. Like I feel like we have like 10 linebackers on the roster now, but you get the point. The point is, man, these rooms are crowded with competition. We drafted a tight end who's everybody's high on, by the way. Okay.
Right.
So these rooms are crowded and it breeds competition, man. I am all for that because in the past, what would have happened? What would have happened is fans and management alike would have said, hey, man, we already got blah, 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 who probably wasn't an all-pro, anything special, and would have said, no, let's just pass and do something else. Nah, Dan Morgan's like, no, y'all gonna compete for these positions this season.
Great question here. How would you grade Dan Morgan's offseason?
All things considering, man, B plus A, honestly.
I was going to say, because imagine coming into the situation he came into.
Right.
And the bottom line is, as a GM, your job, you have one job. The team should always be better. Should always be looking to improve the team. And he's done that.
He's done that.
I mean, and not like significantly yet. We don't know. But on paper, it looks like the team is better than it was. Before, and his predecessor made a bit of a mess of things. It'll be harder to, be easier to grade it, obviously, when we see the on the field product. But I will say that I feel like Dan Morgan has made some pretty good moves.
Yeah.
And I think the Dave Canales hiring is fine. I was kind of lukewarm on it, but after hearing Canales talk, I can't remember the last coach we had. And this even includes Ron Rivera, that it was all about being a Carolina Panther coach.
Right.
He's all in on this team that won 2 games last season. And I know it's his first head coaching job, but it's like he don't even acknowledge Tampa Bay about, I won 2 championships there or a championship there. He's like, nah, we Carolina Panthers, and we're going to get back to playing Panthers football. That was refreshing to hear. So, so, I mean, I'm good on Dan Morgan so far.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. All right, man. Go ahead.
I do want to answer Toby's question. Running backs on 1-year deals and Brooks come out of an injury. How much time do you think Brooks will get? Or do you want it healthy for 2025 since he's the only running back on the roster for 2025?
Yeah, Toby, you kind of already said it, man. I think they'll be patient because they knew what they were getting into with drafting Brooks, man. But Brooks is super talented, man. And there's a reason why they drafted that man so high, man. He's coming off a serious injury, man. But I think you're going to at least look at the first year window and be like, he may not even take a snap. And that's fine. Trust me. They know what they're getting into. They know that they're going to have a patient approach with Brooks. But once he gets inserted, into playing, man, listen, the sky's the limit with that guy. So I'm all for it.
Comment. I'm starring this comment, pinning it. Comment. We got a front office and coaching squad on the same page. When was the last time we had that in Carolina?
I can't even answer that question.
Yeah, 2015. I mean, that's the best way I can describe what's happening with the Panthers right now. Like, there's finally cohesion in which there was none before. So, I'm a I'm just a little like I'm not when I watch the Panthers this season with no real expectations. I'm gonna enjoy watching all the games, even the losses. The Hornets, no, there'll be no enjoyment.
Super cynicism.
Out of spite, I will be watching the Charlotte Hornets. Spite and necessity, which is how I treated the Panthers for years. I used to say this every week on the show. I watch the Panthers every Sunday for you guys, so we can come on here and bloviate about how much we hate them.
Listen, man. I don't think there was ever a rougher football and basketball season for me personally ever. It was peak. Maybe
it hasn't been that. Cleveland's probably gone through a few seasons like that.
It hasn't been that rough since the 2011 Bobcats. That's how rough it was. It hadn't been that rough since then. It felt just like hopeless. It felt like just nothing was ever going to go right.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I think JC Horn will have a great season if he stays healthy.
Yeah,
I agree. Top season if he stays healthy.
If he stays, man, we can just say that about a whole bunch of Charlotte athletes.
Okongwu,
biggest question mark of the season, right there. Biggest question mark.
Plays a little bit of offensive lineman.
I hope Robert Hunt just yells at him every chance he gets.
Who's holding him accountable?
Nobody, apparently.
Yeah.
Robert Hunt, man, biggest sign of the offseason right there. Best move of the solid offseason, in my opinion.
I forgot about that. Dan Morgan, doing some shit.
All right, Kaiser. We don't have a bunch of time left, but I want to just ask you about I'm going to try to squeeze in too many topics as fast as we can, man.
That's fine, yeah.
All right. First mini topic. Guys, y'all chime in, please. So there's this, local famous guy that you may see up and down your timelines, regardless of whether you follow him or not. Always having some polarizing things to say about Charlotte food scene. So I posted what I believe are some good restaurants in Charlotte. I actually got one, one of our guys, Benjamin, went to one of my suggestions. He said, "Hey, man, good looking out. I really like it." Kaza, with that being said, man, how's Charlotte's food scene in your opinion? What do you think about Charlotte's food scene as a whole?
It's fine. I have lived all over the world, literally, from my time in the military. I've lived all over the United States, spent some time in South Korea, have been Middle East, Asia. Charlotte's food is fine. I think the problem is, and this is a problem with the South as a whole, is that there is no food that defines the South, maybe, except for like barbecue,
soul food.
And Charlotte on that front is just kind of like average. don't get me wrong, there's some outstanding barbecue in Charlotte, but I don't think we really have like a place where you're like, there are a few barbecue places. Places that I would consider to be like international must go tos in Charlotte. So I think maybe Jamal wanted to get some barbecue. Okay.
Yeah, I want to go get the barbecue real quick. No,
but also one of Charlotte's biggest problems is that we're a bit too far inland. So our seafood is kind of like, and we're like too far from the coast to get like fresh seafood.
Right.
Which a lot of southern city, like you go to Florida, you're gonna get great seafood. Atlanta is a bit closer to the Gulf than we are to the Atlantic Ocean.
Who also has a considerably worse food scene than Charlotte does, by the way. I said it.
Disagree.
Yeah, I said it. But go ahead.
I think Charlotte's food is fun. Charlotte has a lot of places that have been on Food Network. Now I know Food Network is not the end all be all, but there's places here.
Yeah. No, I feel like the Charlotte food scene has the same problem as the Charlotte music scene. What do I mean by that? People just are very close-minded when it comes to trying to discover new things, right? Me, I know where all the good places to hang out are at. I know where all the good places to eat are at. But why doesn't everybody else know?
Yeah.
like I said, I think it is fine. There are plenty of great places I have been to. I posted my list on the under construction page for those who want to check it out. I think Charlotte, when it comes to the barbecue scene, is top notch. I've been to St. Louis, who I guess people hold them in high regard. To me, it's proud to me a little bit better. Maybe I'm biased. Okay. But again, I think Charlotte's food scene is fine. I've been to New York. I've been to Philly, who has really good food, by the way. But Charlotte, again, I don't think there's anything wrong with
all of those places. Like, I don't even count. I don't like to talk about New York's food scene because New York is so large and
it's a melting pot. Yeah.
Exactly. They have food from all over the place. So it's almost not even fair.
Right.
To compare Charlotte to New York, LA, or even like Chicago or Philly. But let me say this. There is no place there's no place in the world that does fried chicken as good as Charlotte. I don't care. I'll fight on that. Because I love some fried chicken. I love fried chicken. Love it. And like, I remember when I lived in LA, I lived in at Air Force Base, which is outside the LA metro area. We used to go to LA every once in a while. People used to be like, fried chicken. Of course, they want to take me to Roscoe's.
Right.
Get that dry ass bullshit with the Wi-Fi. Get that.
Kaiser, Roscoe's has to be the most overrated restaurant in America, bro. I've been to look, and I went to Roscoe's in the hood. I went to the one in Inglewood. You would think if anyone gets it right, it would be them, right? Yeah. Nah, bro.
Nah. Get that. Nope. Yeah. So if you from first of all, if you're not from the South and you trying to talk to me about fried chicken, just
I don't want to hear.
Talk about something else, right? But I mean, there are a ton of good fried chicken spots in Charlotte, and I'm even talking about like Price's. Price's was a bit overrated, if anything. The gas station across the street from Price's on South and East Boulevard,
get that way better.
Fresh. Go get that chicken fresh, incredible. Chicken King, Mount Holly, Chicken Bucket. We ain't even got to Bojangles yet,
right?
You know how many NBA careers Bojangles has ended?
Al Jefferson,
Derek Coleman,
Anthony Mason.
Yeah, them guys are fit athletes. They come to Charlotte. Nope. Some of that Bojangles.
Hey man, I'm telling you, man, the gas station on Brookside, the corner of Brookside and Oakdale. Yeah.
Yes,
yes, sir.
That's another good one. Yep.
The real ones know. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, Sean May. God dang.
Quick story about Sean May. Ooh, quick story that I've never told under construction. Long time ago, I went to a Bobcat Celtics game. I'll never forget. This is when the Epicenter was still open. After the game, I go to the Epicenter. Whatever the pizza joint is at the Epicenter, I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
I went to the pizza joint, give me a slice. I'm sitting down on the bench. I look over. Sean May, who was injured, by the way, who didn't play in this game. Sean May comes out with a box of pizza. I'm just looking over here like, man, see, that's why you hurt, man. Like, really, dude. I used to see that.
Bojangles is actually expanding nationwide now. They're California, I think. So
it won't be the same.
Yeah, it won't be the same. But the quality of the NBA about to decline greatly.
Oh man! All right, real quick.
Let Nikola Jokic get some Bojangles. It's over.
Oh, it's over. Yeah. No more MVP votes, bro. Nah, no sir.
Done.
All right, man. Real quick, other culture topic, and we'll end it on this note. Quick thoughts on the guy who created Bad Boy. I think everybody's seen the video by now, unfortunately.
Well, first of all, let me say what he did in that video was disgusting. I can't think of any other way to describe that. I don't want to be like, wow, that's crazy, because to me that even diminishes the impact of what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no excuse to hit not even a woman, anyone. What he did to old girl in that video. I mean, it was just disgusting. And
go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, man, I don't think there's really anything else to offer. You know what I mean? Like I don't even want to hear anything, man. I don't come to me with any defense of that. You
No,
understand what I'm saying, man?
don't y'all.
Okay.
Somebody in my neighborhood wilding
So
out. Don't
somebody
hit my
doing
car,
donuts in front of your house.
don't hit my car, because we're
But
in a whole cul-de-sac out, bro.
but even more like I bring this up, man, because Diddy offered his little fake apology today on Instagram, and not one time did he apologize to Cassie. Like, bro,
No, yeah.
like, come on, man. Like,
And we didn't even see, apparently what caused that was he punched her in the face. And she was trying to
Get
leave
out.
while he was sleeping. She was
Right.
like, okay, I'm gonna escape. And he woke up and
Did that.
and then apparently paid the hotel off to give him the footage. Just
Yeah.
just
Just character flaws
Vince
all
in
around.
our UC chat. Vince is still in our unobstructed chat. He mentioned, imagine if they had sold the Panthers to Pub Debt. Remember, he was one of the people trying to buy the Panthers in
Right.
2018. Boy, that would have been.
I got so much hate for saying ain't no way in hell Puffy should buy the Panthers. I got so much hate for saying that.
Yeah, man.
Could you imagine,
black man?
dude, that shit? Could you imagine? The Charlotte don't need any more negative press, man. So we dodged that bullet.
Oh boy, you got any shout outs?
Man, do I have any shout outs? Man, it's God. I feel like I don't leave my house, man. So I'm not very social. I don't know if I have any shout outs.
I got a shout out. So when the news came out that Michael Jordan was selling the majority ownership in the Hornets, one of our concerns was, what does this mean for diversity in front office coaching positions with the Hornets? Because you can say whatever you want about Michael Jordan's ownership, but during his time, as this is going all the way back to the Bobcat days, the Hornets / Bobcats had more minorities and people of color in front office and executive positions than any other franchise in the history of the NBA, right?
Right.
They hired the first Latino coach as well. So there was like this thought that, man, if Michael Jordan leaves, then we're back to, old white guys in suits running the team. To their credit, we have not seen that with the new regime. I do think they are hiring the best people for the job, regardless of their color. But having said that, it's nice to see, the faces that they're hiring. To see a black woman in such a prominent position with the Charlotte Hornets is a little bit refreshing, particularly considering with the uptick in women's sports lately. So shout out to them on that. Now, if the Hornets are trash, then they have to be held accountable. I say that to
they will be.
I have to say that for fellow black people. Like, if they trash, it's okay to say that they trash. It's perfectly okay to say that Charles Lee is trash if he's trash. It's perfectly okay to say these front office people. So, I mean, sometimes they're just bad regardless of their skin color. But having said that, it's nice to see that there was no drop off in that diversity with the new ownership. So
yeah, because one thing that I knew that was going to piss me off is like people who think this is something new. And again, like you said, say what you want to about ownership and what the history of this team has been through, but diversity has never been a problem with this organization since Michael Jordan bought it back in 2010. That has never been an issue. We've had a black GM, black coach, we've black marketing director. We had all that for years and years and years. So this is not something new that I want to. If people are, for the people that want to come on social media, like, oh, Michael Jordan never did that. Yes, he did. So just stop it.
Man, we did forget to talk about the Panthers schedule. Let's make sure we talk about that next week.
Yeah, definitely.
Very, very interesting schedule.
Why are the Cowboys coming here again? Damn it!
Because half the city is Cowboys fans. I will say that I like that it's week 15.
Yeah.
because at that point, I think we'll know if the Panthers are good or not. If the Panthers are trash, then who cares at that point? Yeah, we'll talk about the schedule next week. So
no doubt.
Also, shout out to the Carolina Hurricanes for
I got a shout out. I do have a shout out
for giving me some false hope there. Really thought they were going to pull off the comeback and force a Game 7.
Cause I hate to say this. That was a hell of a collapse, boy. Jesus Christ, what a collapse in that third quarter, man.
To be up 3-1 in the third quarter and then lose 5-3. It's almost like the collapse the Islanders had in the first round against the Carolina Hurricanes. And the Hurricanes, this one's got to sting because they made a lot of moves at the trade deadline. They kind of went all in, because they felt like we got to get over the hump that we couldn't get past last season, the conference finals. And they just ran into the Rangers were a little better team. They are, and they were expected to win the series, but the Rangers almost made it look too easy, I think, at times. And they had the Hurricanes had the momentum, playing on their home ice, leading in a Game 6 that if the Hurricanes win that game, they win that series. I don't think there's any way they go back to New York and lose after that. They had all the momentum, and really, yes, the Hurricanes aren't physical enough, and goaltender play. I didn't think Anderson had a good playoffs. He had a few iffy goals. He gave up a bad shorthanded goal in the series. And then one of the goals that fueled the comeback where, he just lost track of the puck. It's like literally on his skate. Cover it up or kick it out, bro. You're a goalie. He's just sitting there staring at it, and it gets flipped up, and then that started the comeback. And, don't get me started talking about the Canes.
Hell of a collapse.
Yeah,
I do have a shout out, and I want to, man, please forgive my brain instead of my heart for almost forgetting. Shout out to my brother, who I've known for 25 years, my boy Travis Kearns. Travis Kearns has been an EMT worker for what's the hospital, man? CMC. CMC for over 20 years. Travis had underwent a liver transplant, I believe. Travis, if you're on, please correct me. Travis underwent a liver transplant. All right.
Wow.
I don't know if y'all know, that's pretty big deal. Okay. Underwent a liver transplant. He was the honorary captain at the Charlotte FC game yesterday, man. I hate I couldn't make it out, man, but I would have loved to see my brother. He was all up in the Charlotte FC gear, man. Again, they made him honorary captain. He has a story, I believe it's with WSOC, I believe. I may post it on the under construction page if, hopefully I'm correct about that. But his story's been covered. Honorary captain, man. Again, he's been serving our community for almost 30 years, if not 30 years, if I'm not mistaken, man. So very big shout out with all my heart and love to my brother, Travis Kearns, man. Great guy, awesome human being, strong dude, man. Like I said, he's recovering from that liver transplant, man. Doing great things in our community. Awesome father, awesome friend, awesome brother. Can't say enough good things about him, man. So it was just great to see somebody who I know so closely get honored yesterday, man. So shout out to my boy Travis Kearns, man.
Awesome. Yeah, that's dope. I know. I mean, he's under construction family. He's in the chat a lot.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I think that's a pretty good way to end the show.
No doubt, man.
Hopefully, you got any predictions for tonight? Minnesota, Denver. Man, it's gonna be.
Man, we got two Game 7s tonight, man. Oh yeah. Man. Hey, man,
First of all, Pacers Knicks is like 1994 all over again. I'm loving that series, and I hate the Knicks, and I love to see the Pacers. Although I felt like the Pacers shouldn't have been there because really they won the first round series because Giannis got injured.
And Dame got injured too.
Keep it a buck, but boy, they are tooth and nail with the Knicks. I'm loving that series.
With that being said, man, I think the injury bug is going to catch up with the Knicks. I think they got too many guys out, quite honestly, man. I'm going to cautiously, because I think the Knicks here's what the Knicks do have. They got Jalen Brunson, and they got a lot of heart. And I don't necessarily feel comfortable with picking the Pacers, but I'm going to do it anyway just because the Knicks has so many guys out. I'm gonna pick the Pacers, man, but I don't feel great about it. Let me be very clear about that.
The fact is, it's very hard to pick against home teams in Game 7s. I mean,
that's why I don't feel great about it.
Statistically, it's not as close as you think, as everyone probably thinks it is. Home teams win Game 7s. They're gonna, especially in the NBA where the refereeing is very inconsistent. Home team's gonna get those kind of calls all the time. The crowd is gonna be behind them. It's gonna be in close series like both these series are. That home court advantage is going to be huge. So it's difficult for me to pick against the Knicks because of that. This is New York City.
Yeah.
However, like you said, the injury bug in a long series
catches up with you, man.
It does, right? And Jalen Brunson.
And let me cut you off real quick. I think Josh Hart was the nail in the coffin. I think him getting hurt last game, I think that was like the one that was just like, that's too much to overcome, man.
The Knicks Philly series was tough and physical and long.
Right.
They got to be beat down by now. I don't think they're as fresh as Indiana. And you know what? I'm with you here. I think the Pacers pulled this out on the West Coast. I think Denver.
I'm with you. I'm picking Denver.
I think Minnesota kind of, excuse the term, blew their load last game.
Same.
It got to the point where Denver was kind of like Denver. They're such a smart team and they know what it takes to be champions. And they're just kind of like, okay, you know what? Y'all up 40. Y'all got it.
Yep.
Let us, what we call in the fighting game community, let us download you. Because while y'all out there, we're already game planning for Game 7 in Denver, where it's hard to play because of the altitude, for one. And y'all tiring yourselves out. Y'all got to come back and play 1 mile up. The crowd's tough. You got to play defending champions at home, Game 7. I just don't. I don't think it bodes well for the Timberwolves. And essentially, you need. If Anthony Edwards does not have a good game, the Timberwolves don't win. It's simple as that.
I'm picking the Nuggets, and I'm going to tell you what to look out for. I want everybody to look out for this when it comes to the Nuggets and Wolves. I think Mike Malone is going to have Reggie Jackson handle the ball more, and he's going to play Jamal Murray off the ball more, and look for Jamal Murray to be very aggressive tonight, man. I think Nikola Jokic is going to show y'all why he's the MVP, regardless of whether you agree whether he should have won it or not this year. I thought SGA should have won it, but that's another story. But Nikola Jokic is going to show everybody why he's the MVP tonight, and I'm going to leave it at that. I got the Nuggets winning tonight too.
I think there's this sentiment that Nikola Jokic does not care about basketball, and I think that's a sentiment that he himself, that just his demeanor, kind of denotes that.
Right.
But I don't think that's the case. This man stood the entire fourth quarter while his team was getting. Let me put that in perspective.
Yeah.
Remember when the Hornets was getting blown out? What was our team doing in the fourth quarter? What were they doing?
Laughing and shit. Planning on going to the club.
Telling jokes. Yes.
Yeah. What y'all doing after the game?
Stood by himself the entire fourth quarter. That man cares about basketball, and he's going to be ready to play Game 7. And regardless of whether he should have won the MVP or not, I think if he gets it in his mind that no one's going to stop him, then he won't. He's going to get a triple-double.
Nobody will.
And then this is going to be a very good Mavericks-Denver series. That's going to be a great.
All right, man. Let's get out of here so we can watch this stuff, man. Kaz, good seeing you, brother.
You too. Good seeing you guys in the chat. We'll see y'all next week. Have a good week. Peace.
Peace out.